Alright, let's see if this is up and running. Alright, should be up and running pretty soon, and we should be ready to get going. Alright, there we go. Alright, hey NYC, hey Bullet, how's it going, guys? Yeah, sorry I've been gone for a while. I needed to do a few things in my life and take some time off and relax, get my blood pressure down, you know, all that sort of thing. So I've been off playing Warframe. But I'm back. So now to everyone who upvoted and to the new subscribers who might be watching this later, thank you all so much for the support. I was actually really surprised when I came back to my channel and I saw that it had grown so much. That's absolutely fantastic. Hopefully, as I get back into my streaming schedule, more people will come in and we can have more of a discussion. So, now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and jump right into this. So, the hashtag time's up bullshit. I don't know how many of y'all have been paying attention to it and that sort of thing, but basically it's hashtag MeToo 2.0. Basically what it's doing at this point is sitting there and actively going after guys who are perceived, and keep that in mind, perceived to have some sort of sexual misconduct in a business area. They're focusing in very much so on that. This is a big problem because just the hashtag MeToo movement has resulted in a lot of women either losing their jobs or outright becoming unhireable. Just in general, women becoming unhireable. I don't know if y'all have heard about the racing scene, but apparently they're getting rid of the girls that are standing there in front of the cars for advertising their teams and products and so on and so forth. And a lot of those women are speaking out saying, hey, we really liked our jobs. We were treated well. We were well respected. There was nothing bad about this. It wasn't objectifying. Take a look at what we were wearing. It wasn't anything really super revealing unless it was for a photo shoot that we agreed to, you know, for like Sports Illustrated or something along those lines. It's not like they were out there in bikinis and that sort of thing. It was actually very kind of buttoned up type of look. In fact, some people were complaining that it was too buttoned up and that they looked more like secretaries than they looked like advertisement girls. So, and a lot of people have been joking around saying, yeah, that's how you be a true feminist. Get hundreds or thousands of women fired. You know, I can't disagree with it. I really can't. It's funny as hell. And if you've noticed a change in the quality, let me know if you think this is higher quality or of lesser quality. My microphone shouldn't be cutting out as much. I got myself a new headset. So, but I know that this one has a little bit less noise canceling, so please bear with me. I'm testing this out. This is the first time streaming with this microphone. But it's not a Blue Yeti or anything like that, although I would love to get one, and I know that would increase my quality, but I'm not deep enough in for that yet. But it's kind of funny that these movements keep hurting women, and now these women are starting to speak out. It's kind of funny how that works. It's almost like the people bitching and complaining aren't involved with these things in any way, shape, or form other than being onlookers. Usually, the women that are bitching and complaining about this tend to be the stereotypic feminist. You know, the cat lady, the forever alone woman. You know, the dragon lady that is now suffering at her older age and she's already fucking hit the wall. So therefore, she's got to make these young, pretty girls absolutely fucking miserable so that way they end up just like her later on. These women are actively starting to get to the point where they're starting to undermine themselves. And I called this. I called this very early on. I said that feminism was going to start getting onto women's bad side as there were going to be less and less real men out there, as women were going to get less and less satisfaction out of anything and everything that they do, as their opportunities started to shrink because of the overbearing nature of feminism and because of the fear that feminism has inspired in many businesses, corporations, whatever you want to call them. Hell, entire industries. And this is something that I really hoped wouldn't come to pass, but I knew it was going to. And that's how this happens. You know, at first, you know, when your movement is small and that sort of thing, you don't seem overly threatening, and it's really easy to do the, oh, we're speaking out for the greater good, we're speaking out for the greater good. And then all of a sudden you get to the point where it's not for the greater good anymore. And it gets to the point where you're now becoming kind of a marmish figure. You know, like an overprotective parent, you know, or as an overbearing dictator. And quite frankly, I think overbearing dictator is a great way of describing any feminist that gets into any position of power or authority in a company. Usually in the HR department or whatnot. That's where these things end up. I'm reluctant to call them people anymore because the thing is for me to classify someone as a person, they have to have at least a basic rudimentary understanding of how humans function. If they do not have at least that basic rudimentary idea of how people function that you gain at about the age of 5 or 6, maybe if you're a late learner, 7, 8, or 9, if you don't even have that anymore, it's really difficult for me to consider you a person. You're still a human, but you might not be a person to me. And I know that that sounds exceedingly harsh, but it is what it is. And yeah, Bullet, even female bosses are reluctant to hire women. I've actually been talking to some women that actually own their own business, and they're kind of mimicking that sentiment. And one of them said, well, because the thing is whenever she hires a woman, all of a sudden the social dynamic temporarily changes. It becomes a big hassle. It gets in the way of work and all that, even while the girl's in her training phase. And when she hires a guy, it's basically business as usual, and the guy gets up to speed quickly. Whereas with the woman, she tends to be coddled by the other employees, and so the other employees are taking on higher workloads, stressing themselves out, and it's becoming a massive issue. And so she's actually not even hiring women anymore. Hey, Turbattle, how's it going? But it's kind of interesting to me seeing hashtag MeToo evolve into this thing where they're all like, oh, we need to actively combat this. How do we combat this? Oh, let's see now. we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna hire more women so there's more people to bitch and complain and not do work, and to make the work environment actively hostile to half of our employees, if not more. You know, it's like, come the fuck on. You don't solve a problem by adding more problem. You know, that's not how it works. That's never been how this works. That's not how any of this works. And the thing is they still haven't gotten the memo that female bosses do this same shit. They will sexually objectify someone. They'll hire them because they look good. You know, they'll hire them because, you know, the person's willing to sex them up and that sort of thing. That is something that happens with female bosses as well. And people are like, well, it doesn't happen as often. Yeah, because there's not as many female bosses. You get as many female bosses and high-level CEOs, those women are going to end up slumming it and going after these lower quality guys just for the sexual rush of it. And that's it. But the difference is if a guy comes forward about it, he's not going to be fucking listened to. People are going to sit there and go, well, that's called a benefit, motherfucker. Why are you complaining? You should have gotten fired for complaining about this. You know, it's like, it's a completely different fucking dynamic when that shit happens. I absolutely hate this double standard. But it's a thing that's there. But these people aren't even addressing that double standard. So, what is going to be the end result of this? The end result of this is going to be less and less women working. It's going to be less and less women being able to go out and find gainful employment. Unless you're talking about the super low-end jobs. You know, flipping burgers, so on and so forth. You know, retail. You're going to find that shit. It's going to provide less opportunity for them to work their way up the ranks, because then people are going to sit there and constantly be questioning what she's doing to go up the ranks, and, you know, what does she have to deal with and all that sort of thing. And the male bosses aren't going to have any of that. And they're just going to be promoting males. And when people sit there and call them misogynistic and that sort of thing, well, guess what? And Turbattle says this will lead to more automation. That's actually not untrue. And it's going to be interesting to see how women deal with their stereotypic jobs suddenly going to automation. I mean, they've had it before, you know, with textile industries and so on and so forth. But you didn't hear too much of a kerfuffle about that. But with males losing their jobs hand over fist, like just constantly to new automation, people are sitting there and dogging on guys. Well, I'm interested to see if people are going to start dogging on women for not going out and getting a job because they're losing their jobs to automation because the robots are safer. You know, I honestly want to see how this is going on. Oh yeah, I know they're up in arms about sex dolls already, and they're trying to sit there and say that it's immoral and that sort of thing. And they're trying to say, well, it's just so that the men can abuse these things instead of women. Yeah, okay, how is that a bad fucking thing? If you're sitting there and saying that penis and vagina penetration is akin to violent rape, it's violent rape in and of itself, then if we create robots for this, if we create these things specifically for this, wouldn't that be a positive thing for women? Oh wait, no, it's not, because guess what? Last year they did a study, and it turns out that women are 2 times more likely to watch rape, forced, and brutal gangbang porn. Yeah, I was just talking about that earlier, Turbattle, as far as the car models getting fired because of this feminist PC bullshit. But No, the thing is I want to know when people are gonna sit there and just see this double think that's going on. Because the thing is women are sitting there and saying that it's perfectly fine to objectify men, but objectifying women is wrong. They're saying that it's perfectly fine for women to have sex toys and all that, but sex toys for guys are objectifying and wrong. And it reduces women down to nothing more than their sexual organs. I mean, it's just one thing after another, after another, after another, and it's just... See, this is the reason why I took a break, because it's always the same fucking thing. It's always them sitting there and saying, we need to take this away from guys, or we need to deny this to guys, but we need to say that it's okay for women. Hybristophilia. I haven't heard of that. 1 second. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna look that up right here on the spot. Let's see what's up with that. Oh, attraction to violence? Oh yeah, no. Well, the reason why is because it actually comes down to an ingrained female nature. Women tend to, even the more aggressive ones, tend to want to be kind of more on that submissive side. That's the reason why a lot of these women, like the guys that they look at, that they find attractive, tend to be the super fit guys. You know, the guys that have a lot of muscle, that just looking at them, you can tell that this guy would easily be able to overpower her physically. Now, I'm not saying that every woman wants to be raped. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that with female nature, they want a guy that can easily overpower them, because that means that that guy can go ahead and more effectively protect them than they can protect themselves. Same thing with offspring. And yes, I'm bringing this back to a cold, sterile, scientific way of thinking. But we have to look at this scientifically at this point, because we already know the emotional nature of the dynamic. We already know all this. It's well established. It's common knowledge. If you've ever been outside and interacted with other people, if you've ever seen movies, if you've ever listened to music, if you've ever read a book, fiction or non-fiction, it doesn't matter. It's always the same motif. Very rarely do you see a woman being attracted to a guy that is significantly weaker than her. This is a rarity. It is an oddity. And usually those relationships don't last for a long period of time. At least they didn't. Whereas now, those are the relationships that last for a long period of time, whereas the strong men, they use the strong men basically as sperm donors, and then go ahead and take on the weaker guy, because now he can't defend himself against her, mentally, emotionally, or physically, and she can go ahead and abuse him and drain him of his resources. So hypergamy has now actually started to actually kind of break down on its own as well. It's still very much so intact, but it's been warped and misconstrued by feminism. But for example, I had this one ex-girlfriend that she was very headstrong. She had a strong personality. All this sort of stuff. But the thing is finally, and I was being, that nice and considerate guy and that sort of thing. And one day she was just straightforward with me, and I'm glad that she was straightforward with me. She looked at me and she said, "Look, if you want me to actually want you, then you gotta stop the nice guy act. You gotta stop always caring about my feelings. And so the thing is at that point, I didn't fully understand what it meant. So I started being kind of an asshole. And then a little while later, it was about a month or so, she started denying me sex, and I was sitting there, and finally I got to the point of, that coercion aspect. And all of a sudden I noticed that she started resisting more, but at the same time she was opening herself up more. And then that's when it clicked. That's when I knew what she fucking wanted. And she even admitted to me that that's what she had been wanting from the get-go. She wanted me to be forceful. She wanted me to pin her down. She wanted her clothes ripped off. She wanted that sort of shit. That was the type of shit that turned her on. That was the type of shit that made her feel sexy. That was the type of shit that made her feel desirable. Oddly enough. And most women, that's a living nightmare for them. Or at least so they claim. But now we're seeing more and more women having rape fantasies and being open about rape fantasies, because the thing is that study even showed that the women that were less repressed sexually tended to be the ones that were more willing to openly admit that they had rape fantasies. They were the ones that would sit there and say, yeah, no, they masturbated thinking about that, or they actively went out of their way trying to set up that rape fantasy to play out. Yeah, exactly, Bullet. And that's the thing. Like, if me and her were still together, I would still be at a great amount of risk. That, it becomes you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Because if you don't, she's either going to leave you, and that's the best case scenario. She just outright leaves, and you go your separate ways, whatever. Yeah, you take the pain, and then you move on. Or she could sit there and go out, cheat on you, and then blame you for the marks that are left from some other fucking guy, and get you thrown in fucking prison, and her still be out there fucking that guy while you're getting your ass plowed in prison. And I think that it's fucking funny that they keep wanting to send men into a area where anal rape is a very common fucking thing. Sodomization is a very common thing. And then they have the sheer audacity to sit there and say, well, we don't mind if a few innocent men go away. So a guy that was not guilty of that rape, you don't mind sending him in there where he will in turn be raped and not get justice. Have zero chance of getting justice for the rape that was put upon him by the lie of a woman. Yeah. That sounds absolutely like a fucking great idea. Because here's the thing, if a man can be put away for rape just like that, just off of the word of a woman, why would men even interact with women? Why would men even go near a woman? And if you think that guys aren't going to be sitting there and bugging themselves, constantly having a camera going, constantly having audio going, all of that sort of thing, so that way they can actually prove a negative in court, then you are sorely, sorely mistaken. Because I made a video a while back called Cameras Are the Social Condom. I stand by that video. I stand by what I said in that video. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and go and watch it. It's one of my earlier videos, so the quality's not all that great on it. But a lot of people really did like it, at least the ones that watched it. Maybe I should go through and revisit that concept on a live stream, so that way we can go ahead and do that. But I'm not going to do that here. But getting back onto topic, this hashtag Time's Up thing when I say that it's hashtag MeToo 2.0, what I mean is it's going to accelerate the negative effect that this is going to have on women. It's also going to accelerate the negative effect that it's going to have on guys, and it's going to have no positive effect whatsoever in comparison to the damage that it's going to cause. Yeah, and Bullet, that's actually a very astute observation. I actually saw that. But also at the same time, they're trying to challenge that case now. So that's a thing. Hopefully that ends up getting overturned, and hopefully the people that were involved in that railroading of that guy just hopefully they end up getting time for false imprisonment. And hopefully he can go ahead and sue the absolute living fuck out of everyone involved. Yeah, and I agree with you, Turbattle. Once too many women are discovered to be liars about something, they change up the position of the goalposts. But the issue is at this point we're seeing this whole focus on women, and a lot of guys are starting to get really fucking pissed off about it. And they're starting to come out and call out the soy boys that are backing these women that think that they're going to get pussy from being soy boys. Not going to fucking happen. And yes, I'm actually using the term soy boy unironically. Because I'm sorry, I have absolutely no respect for a guy that is so emasculated that they're going to purposely destroy their own body and purposely avoid meeting any sort of physical potential whatsoever. I mean, with me, with my sedentary lifestyle, I have met more physical potential than those soy boys ever will. The only thing that I'm probably not as good at is running away, because I can't run for as far. But I'm probably overall faster than them. Especially when I go through my little bouts of weight loss, because the thing is my body's used to carrying around, 260 pounds. And if I end up losing weight and I drop down to 230, well, guess what? Yeah, I was a football player. I learned how to move. Hey, Windust, how's it going? It's good to be back. But yeah, no, I was a football player, and I can tell you right now, if you tried to play any sort of sport that is actually physically demanding, and you're trying to go off of soy or something like that, you are fucked. You are donezo. You're gone. You are going to get eaten alive. Now, there are some people that are just naturally skinny. I get that. I understand it. They have a hard time putting on weight. They have a hard time bulking up, and that sort of thing. I get that, and they can still be a force to be reckoned with. But that's something genetic. The thing is these guys that I call soy boys, it's also part of the mentality. Basically what it is they are so desperately trying to not be men that they're actively going out of their way to do things that are going to lower their testosterone levels. I mean, when you are a male in that age range of 20 to 35 and you have testosterone levels of that are less, and I'm being literal here, if you have testosterone levels less than a 100-year-old man, there is a fucking problem. You are doing something that is exceedingly damaging to your body. Because yes, testosterone has been linked to a lot of diseases. We understand that, we get that, but they are treatable diseases in most cases. However, when you have a high level of estrogen inside of a male body, you get a lot more diseases. Not only mental diseases, but also physical diseases that aren't curable. So these guys are actively damaging themselves in irreparable ways. And I hate to see people do that. Is Aziz the guy that tricked those women, like basically casting couched them? Like tricked them into shooting a porn video? Terror Battle? I'm not up to speed with Aziz. Like I said, I took a break. I wasn't even really on YouTube all that much. I mean, I have been living and breathing Warframe for a while. So, what's the story with Aziz, guys? And while you're going ahead and typing out that novel, I'll go ahead and continue on. But, again, back on to topic. When women see stuff like hashtag MeToo and hashtag Time's Up, they need to cringe. They need to just suck themselves back. Hey Capone, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. I'm having kind of I'm back episode here, talking about some shit that I wanted to go ahead and talk about. I'm coming back from basically a month-long break. So right now we're talking about the hashtag MeToo bullshit evolving into the hashtag Time's Up. They were also letting me know about the whole Aziz Ansari from what it sounds like, the Aziz I'm sorry situation. Oh shit. Okay, so he just took her on a bad date and they're considering that rape now? Did I get that wrong, or am I missing some key bits of information that I need to go ahead and research? Bullet. Okay. Yep as in I got it right, or yep as in I need to research the fuck out of this shit and then come back and laugh about it? But, okay, yeah, no, seriously, honestly, the hashtag fuck you too will never start trending because, well, Twitter won't let it. Now, it might start trending on some other social media sites that aren't Orwellian, but, you know, it is what it is. He took her home. She says she wasn't into it, but still sucked him off twice. No other sexual actions occurred. To our current knowledge. And then she sat around and watched TV. Yeah, no, like, honestly, if she has an opportunity to fucking leave, to get the fuck away, and she doesn't take it, I'm sorry, at that point, it wasn't fucking rape. That's all I'm gonna fucking say. Now, it comes down to kind of a gray area if, like, alcohol is involved in that sort of thing. But for people who don't know where my stance is on that, I'll let you know right now. If you decided to go ahead and drink, then you decided to accept the consequences of the actions that you are going to take while you are drunk. That is how I look at it. No one forced the alcohol down your throat, therefore no one else is responsible for anything except for you. Yeah, no, that's not a Me Too moment. No. That's see. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get down to brass tacks here. The whole hashtag Me Too thing and the whole hashtag Time's Up. Let's be real here. The thing is when women are doing this hashtag Me Too and hashtag Time's Up, I'm going to be charitable, and I'm going to say 70% of them. I'm going to be very charitable to women here. Because in all reality, I'm thinking it's actually probably about 90%, but I'll be nice. And I'll say 70%. 70% of these women are looking to cash in on victim points after having gotten the benefits of them going out and acting like a cock-sucking whore. Let's just be completely fucking honest. Alright? That is the long and the short of this. They want to reap the rewards of them going out and selling their fucking sexuality, and then afterwards they want to go ahead and be treated as a victim and be treated as a special class, so they get special privileges and special attention and even more fucking payout. That is what is going on here. She says he didn't read her nonverbal cues and mumbling instead of saying she doesn't want to have sex, even though white wine is what you have with seafood. And then she complained that there was still wine in the bottle when he suggested going to his place. Oh, Jesus Christ. And I'm sorry, if you don't want to do something, you can't sit there and mumble it. You have to outright sit there and say no. You know, at that point, if the guy still continues to push forward and the woman is sitting there and actively saying no, shoving him away, that sort of thing, and I'm talking about like an authoritative no. Because here's the thing, and this is something that doesn't get addressed by these feminists or SJWs or whatever. This is something that never gets addressed. There are a lot of women out there that'll say no and push the guy away, but they're being coy at the same fucking time. You know, like they're being shy, they're playing hard to get, that sort of thing. And they want the guy to push the fucking issue. That happens quite fucking often. But the thing is at this point, I'm guaranteeing you, she was sitting there sucking on his dick because she wanted to go ahead and get that and get that celebrity status. But then afterwards, she thought about it and she's all like, you know what? Maybe his dick wasn't big enough, or maybe I don't want to be involved with a fucking soy boy. Maybe I don't want to be involved with someone who's this fucking pussy whipped, who would be perfectly okay with me sitting there having some guys bust into the fucking house, tie him up to a chair, and him have to watch them fuck me in every fucking hole, leaving me full of cum, and then making him clean it up with my fucking tongue. Maybe she just wanted the celebrity status. In fact, I'm gonna come out and say that's more than likely what fucking happened. And Tour Battle, unfortunately, I don't think all women know it, because the thing is, there are some girls that are becoming young women that are growing up hearing about this shit, and they're actually thinking that this is how the world functions. And that's where the real damage is coming into play, because then these young women are seeing boogeymen around every corner and throwing up these false flags. Well, the thing is, the more false flags that get thrown up, the less people are going to believe it, the more it's going to be desensitized, and then actual rapes, actual brutal crimes are going to go unpunished. They're going to go unnoticed, unbelieved, and so on and so forth. That's a problem. Oh, really? Huh. Okay, so she wasn't getting enough attention for her little fucking award that she fucking got, and so she wanted fucking more attention, and therefore, all of a sudden, a magical hashtag MeToo moment. Yay. Ugh, good God. This is fucking ridiculous. But when it comes down to these movements, these are going to cause so much damage to women's credibility as a whole. Unfortunately, that's how humans function. If we notice that one specific subsect of humanity is being a fucking problem, if it's known to be a liar, if it, just like we look at children. We sit there and we look at children and we're all like, yeah, kids fucking lie. Kids are fucking assholes. We generalize in that way. Well, guess what? We also generalize with men. Men are more sexually aggressive than women, even though that's not true. Some studies have actually fucking been showing recently. Men tend to be physically stronger than women, which is still backed up by science. Thank you very fucking much. That one is true. Pound for pound, guys are stronger. Then, we also sit there and say women tend to be more flexible than men, which again, backed up by fucking science. But then we have the social aspects where, men tend to not be in tune with emotion as much as women. Well, that's debatable now, isn't it? Men tend to not be as good of caregivers as women. Well, again, that's up for fucking debate. Especially given the whole single mother epidemic that we have going on, and the rash of children raised by single mother households going to fucking prisons. How they make up the vast majority of people in prison? Just saying. So men have had these negative things associated with them. Well, guess what? Now, I'm starting to see more and more people, whenever a woman sits there and says that they're raped, before it would be instantly go after the guy and lynch him and that sort of thing. And now they're all like, let's get his side of the story. So feminism's actually causing people to doubt women that are saying that they've been sexually assaulted or raped. Whereas that doubt wasn't there before. It's funny as fuck. Literally, feminism is having the opposite effect that it claims to want to have. And so, at this point, and with feminism bringing out the whole, instead of due process, like Bullet is saying, which I agree, due process is out the window right now. But the thing is that's actually due to feminism and social justice. And so now it's court of popular opinion. Well, now people who are conservatives and actually have a brain are sitting there and going, all right, this problem isn't going away. I'm going to actually fucking speak up. And now, all of a sudden, those voices are starting to get on the rise, and they're not buckling to this, oh, if you say that, you're racist, or if you say that, you're sexist, or misogynistic, or blah, 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 blah. That shit's going out the window as well. And it's becoming ineffective because it's been overused. And now people have been deadened to it. So what happens? Now, people aren't afraid to speak the truth anymore. They're not afraid to speak their mind. Funny thing that. So now we're in a situation where people are starting to actually say these things openly. They're starting to actually combat these lies with facts. laws are getting worse by the day, but the thing is also at the same time, now more and more people are starting to fight back against those laws. Like just recently, where I live, there was actually a court case where jury nullification actually fucking happened. With a local law that was passed in California. And so you're going to start hearing that term more often, at least as far as the U.S. is concerned, and that is jury nullification. Basically, for those who don't know what jury nullification is. Hey, Reverend, how's it going? But for those who don't know what jury nullification is, it's basically a situation of, yeah, we know this person did this thing, but we don't think that they should be punished for it, or we think that the punishment is too harsh, so we're going to find them innocent. That's what jury nullification is. Like, let's say they were to sit there and change the penalty for being found guilty of rape to you have your head cut off in the public square. Well, then the whole thing of rape is going to become exceedingly difficult to get a conviction on, because people are going to have that in the back of their mind of, if I find this person guilty, they're dead. Do I think they deserve to be killed? That's the reason why you don't see the death penalty on a whole hell of a lot of shit. Even though a lot of us sit there and say, you know what, those people should be fucking buried under the prison. The reason is because you wouldn't get that many convictions. The barrier to get a conviction, the barrier of evidence, would be so insanely high, you might get 1 out of 5. Maybe. And that's for the most serious of heinous crimes. And we're talking about like mass murder type of shit. That's why the conviction rate for capital punishment crimes in Texas is so low. It's because people have that in the back of their mind. But if they're sitting there and they're looking at it as, oh, he's only got a year in prison, or, oh, he only has to pay this fine, or, oh, he only has to do this, or only has to do that, they're going to be much more likely to find the person guilty if it seems like it's a light sentence. That's another reason for light sentencing. But a lot of people don't understand this about the legal system. They actually have built a lot of these laws and the punishments that come along with them based on that perception of people are going to consider what the punishment is. And we're starting to see lawyers actually bring up what the punishment is, just in case someone's not educated on the severity of what's going on here. We're actually starting to see this where they're actually using the punishment as a defense. Basically, the person's pleading guilty, but sitting there and saying, all right, this person is sitting there and saying, yeah, they know they fucked up. They did something wrong. So do you think that they deserve this exceedingly harsh punishment? Or the potential of it? Hell, I've seen one court case where the judges passed for actually sentencing people was brought up to get the person off. And it worked. Because that judge was known to be particularly harsh, and the thing that this person was on trial for was considered to be a serious crime, even though most people are all like, what the fuck? That's only slightly worse than shoplifting. But it had a 40-year... No, it was a 20-year minimum sentence and a 40-year maximum sentence. And the judge had a exceedingly high amount of times where he gave people the maximum sentence, where he threw the book at them. So it's an interesting little dynamic that I don't think a lot of people are really addressing at this point. But I'm starting to notice this as I pay more attention. Turbattle, as far as rape, Well, I mean, the numbers don't lie, you know? Yeah, they care about rape. They care about fantasizing about it, apparently. They care about, rubbing their clams to videos of it. As far as justice is concerned, only if it benefits them. If it's going to inconvenience them, no. They're not interested in justice in any way, shape, or form. I mean, the same can be said about men, except for the fact that there are plenty of men out there that have said, look, I don't care if this inconveniences me. It's not right if someone can go ahead and do this and not be punished for it. So even if it inconveniences me, even if it puts me at risk, I'm willing to go ahead and accept that. But you don't see that with women. Like when they try to sit there and bring out punishment for a woman who's actively been proven to have lied about a rape claim and wasted the time of the police, wasted the time of the person, wasted the resources of the person, maybe cost them their job, cost them their family, cost them their friends, all of that sort of thing. You know, doing a lot of fucking damage with a single fucking lie. When it was brought up that there should be a harsh penalty for this, that they should do jail time equivalent to what the guy would have fucking done, including the time that he had already served, as well as him being able to sue her ass into the fucking dirt, making sure that the only way she's ever going to be able to pay that lawsuit off is to either go out and get married to a guy that's stupid enough to marry a woman that's been convicted of this shit, or to go out and work the fucking corner. Whenever that shit was fucking brought up, all of a sudden they're all like, no, because that means that they're gonna have to question the victim. It's all like they're not a victim if they're fucking lying. So there's a big difference between men and women when it comes down to justice. There's a huge, huge difference there. And we need to stop, like, no matter how much we hate people, and I'm guilty of this as well, and I've been working on it. I have been working on this, and we all need to work on this, especially MGTOW. Because whenever we see a male feminist get accused of something, we always sit there and point and laugh. And okay, it's alright to chuckle under your breath when you first hear it. It's okay to giggle a little bit. Let's be fucking honest. Everyone loves some fucking irony. But we need to sit there and stop doing the whole, oh, well, we're not going to listen to a rapist. Because the thing is we've been seeing, at least I have. At the very least, I have. I have seen so many MGTOWs, and again, including myself, sitting there, like with the Weinstein case, before the stuff came out, you know, like that proved that he had done some of this shit. We were sitting there and already calling him a rapist. We were actually contributing to the listen and believe culture. And some are doing it on purpose, going, well, you know what? If you're going to go ahead and throw that weapon out there, we're going to pick it up and use it against you. Because it's sure as hell going to be used against us. We might as well use it against you. That's not the way of doing it. We need to go ahead and win our battles without using those weapons. And the thing is if guys are being hit with this shit and they see us sitting there going, dude, we told you it was gonna fucking happen, but it's not too late for you to come over to the side of fucking reason, then that just means more and more people on our side And that means more and more people spouting the truth. And those guys can sit there and say, look, I've gone through this. Yeah, Weinstein hasn't been convicted in a court of law. He was convicted in court of public opinion, but also those recordings were so fucking damning. He was fucked from the get-go. Let's be honest. As soon as the first recording came out, he was fucked. As soon as that evidence was there, because that's kind of incontrovertible evidence. So it really fucking sucks. I mean, unless they prove that those were somehow faked, but he actually admitted that they were already correct. But there are a few that where you look at it and it's all like, do you have any proof of this? Well, no. But I mean, look, he's done it to other women. It's all like, it doesn't matter if he's done it to other women, it matters if he's done it to you. You know? It's just like with someone who owns a pit bull. It's all like, well, this pit bull's bitten someone in the past, and I'm claiming that it bit me now. It doesn't matter if I don't have any bite marks on me. You should listen to me because that pit bull's bitten someone in the past. No, that's not how this works. Oh yeah, no, I fully agree with you there, Bullet, because the thing is we've seen that women are more than willing to offer up their sexuality to get a leg up on the competition. But they're really... no, he's just a really pushy pressurer. I haven't seen anything as far as solid evidence, or that could even be considered solid evidence, of him being a legit rapist. And for people who are coming in to the channel, maybe watching this a little bit later or something like that, if you're still watching, good on you. Because, I mean, we're almost at an hour-long thing. I'm going to end up ending the stream pretty soon here, guys. Because I still want to keep the streams at least somewhat short. But I figured since it was my first time back, I could go a little bit longer. Because there was a lot to talk about. But, when it comes to someone being an actual rapist, we're talking about someone who literally is holding a gun or to someone's head, a knife to their throat, or forcing them down, tying them up, whatever. You know, that brutal fucking rape. Whereas someone who's a very pushy pressurer is someone who's just very good at coercing someone into sex, regardless of if they want to do it or not. And the thing is when I'm talking about holding a gun to someone's head, I mean, that's also stuff like, let's say a landlord coming in and someone's not able to pay their rent that day, them sitting there and going, well, I'm going to go ahead and kick you out if you can't pay your rent today. I'm going to go ahead and kick you out and that sort of thing. Or you can let me fuck your wife while the wife is sitting there screaming and crying no while he's doing it. That is a rapist. Pure and fucking simple. But the thing is someone who sits there and, you know, is really good at sweet talking people into shit, or like one of these soy boys who goes ahead and plays the pathetic card and gets a pity lay from a woman. They're not a rapist. They're just a really good manipulator. So it's just one of those things where, you know, it's just, I don't know. And I'm not defending Weinstein. Honestly, I think that the guy is a pig. Like, let's be completely honest. And it's rare for me to fucking say that about a guy. It really is. But the guy just, he makes my skin crawl. Every time I hear him talk, every time I just see him, I'm all like, ugh. Oh God, yeah, no, that genetic legacy needs to end there. That you have reached an evolutionary dead end. You need to stop. Yeah, exactly. And that's the reason why a lot of police chiefs are starting to come out and you know they're starting to emphasize you know suspect, because the thing is for a while there they were sitting there and saying the perpetrator. Well, that means that you have it set in your mind that this person absolutely fucking did it and you're not following any other leads. Whereas now they're looking at suspect, because now they have to actually, I don't know, you know, they actually have to go ahead and investigate the situation. And the thing is it's kind of funny. The police are very quickly learning that when they investigate these claims, a lot of them turn out to be fucking false. A lot more can be proven to be actually 100% factually false than can be substantiated. Yet, feminists and SJWs sit there and say we live in a rape culture. No, we don't. We live in a false allegation culture. If you're going to talk about higher statistics, higher percentages, we do not live in a rape culture. The odds of a rape going unpunished when it comes to a woman, guess what? It gets punished. It doesn't go unpunished all that often. It's very fucking rare. However, if a man is raped, quite often it goes unpunished. And I know I'm sounding like an MRA here, which I've openly said. I am a MGTOW, but I'm also an MRA. Because I want to see a time where I want to see us reach a point where MGTOW is not a necessity. I do want to see that. But really, Stanford was claiming a higher rape instance than Iraq. Okay, yeah, I believe that. Not really. But I just want to go ahead and I want to say this. MRAs are not the enemy. Now, there are a lot of trad cucks in the MRAs. Alright, I will openly admit that. But the fact is a lot of MRAs literally actually just want guys to get a fair shake at shit. And I am so sick and tired of guys sitting there and hearing the term MRA and thinking, oh, just a whining piece of shit. No, that's not it. But the thing is, they are fighting an uphill battle. The ones taking the easy mode are the ones that are arguing that women need more protection. We're already geared toward protecting women. We're already geared to protecting women. Societally, culturally, hell, just as a species, we are geared toward protecting women, not men. So the thing is now that we're sitting here and saying, hey, it's gotten to the point where men actually need protection, guess what? That's an uphill battle, because that runs counterintuitive, because the thing is in a lot of these cases, men are needing protection from women. That means not protecting the women. That means actually holding the women responsible for their actions, not coddling them, not shielding them. And so MRAs need all the help that they can get. They need motherfuckers like me that are willing to come out, bring out the hard truth in a way that will piss people off. But then they also need some people that are a little bit more calm about it. That are a little more tactful, for less than a better word. To go ahead, smooth over the ruffled feathers that happen because of me. But then also solidify what I said. Them sitting there and going, look, he didn't say it in exactly the best way. But he decided to do that so that way you would actually think about it. Because nothing gets you to think about something longer than something that just sticks in your craw. Something that pisses you off. Something that makes you fume. That makes you boil over with rage. And that's the reason why sometimes I will say things in the most crass way possible. Because some people listening will get pissed off, they'll unsubscribe, and then a day or so later, they'll resubscribe. I have several subscribers that have already done this on my channel. Why was that? Because they thought about it, and they were all like, you know, he has a point. And a lot of MGTOWs tend to be very crass. Some of them are outright boisterous about it. But the thing is the reason why MGTOWs have gotten that way is because MGTOWs are MRAs that have been driven past the point of no return. You know? That's how I look at MGTOW. Me, I went from Tradcuck to MRA to MGTOW in the span of 2 months, pretty much. And Terror Battle is kind of right there. And we're actually seeing that because a lot of women are starting to actually voice their concern. They're all like, we want actual men to be husbands, not only for us, but for our daughters. We want actual men that can go ahead and protect us, protect our children, protect our daughters, protect our loved ones. We want our daughters to actually have the opportunity to find a husband if they choose to do so. But feminists don't want that. Feminists don't want women to find husbands. They want women to be perpetually miserable. And then blame all of it on men. And yes, the men are saying, why take the risk? Because right now, you're punishing us just for fucking existing. Our existence is based off of risk at this point. And we're not talking about boyish risk. We're not talking about the statistic where guys are infinitely more willing to take risks, and hence us having higher fatality rates and higher and higher injury rates and all of that sort of thing. You know, higher accidents in cars and that sort of thing. I'm not talking about that shit. I'm talking about us just walking out the fucking door is a risk nowadays. Because you never know. You might be sitting there and walking down the fucking street or getting onto a train or something like that. Some woman sit there and make an accusation, and all of a sudden now your entire world just got shattered. Because you woke up and walked out that front door. There's only and now they're sitting there and saying that you shouldn't be afraid of women. Bullshit. You absolutely should be afraid of women. You should absolutely record every interaction you have with any woman out there. Quite frankly, I think body cams are going to be the way of the future for guys. Like I would not be surprised if you started seeing ties with video cameras in them selling at a regular rate. Very fucking soon. You know, that has an omnidirectional microphone and all that sort of shit on it. Just so that way the guy has something there to at least try to shield himself. I mean, who knows? Maybe I should go ahead and do that. Find some camera company that's willing to sell me unboxed cameras, so that way I can go ahead, put them into pre-tied ties or clip-on ties or something like that. So you just go ahead, hit a button, and go ahead and have it record. You know, maybe that's a thing that I should go ahead and make and then maybe sell as part of my own brand or something. What do you guys think? Would you be interested in buying something like that? Because I know I would be. I'd be wearing those things constantly. I'd be constantly going out there looking like I'm all dressed up and shit just so I could protect myself. Look like I'm one of those straight edge motherfuckers. Until people start listening to me talk. Very true, Terror Battle. A bicycle is very much so. It's very much more valuable than a fish. Like, I would absolutely love to see that. Another cool thing that could be interesting, because I've actually seen some MGTOW rings. My question is why aren't you putting in an audio recording device in those fucking rings? Come on, guys. Get on it. You know? Have a rechargeable battery or a replaceable battery in the thing. You know, have it use like a watch battery or something. Use a micro memory card in the thing. I mean, that would be insanely useful to someone like me. Because I'm getting exceedingly paranoid about this. And I have no choice but to get paranoid. And here's the thing. I'm not a prime target. I'm a prime target for a false rape claim or a false sexual harassment claim. Because people will look at me and sit there and go, oh yeah, what woman would be interested in him? You know? As far as physical aspects. Because the thing is women have already said that they're okay with a guy sitting there and sexually harassing them or sexually assaulting them as long as he's attractive. That's another thing that people are noticing. Is that women are definitely the major objectifiers. Men may be fucking visual as far as our sexuality is concerned, but women are just as much so, except they're more brazen about it now. Guys have to keep it under the radar. Women don't. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to end the stream here, guys. Thank you all to all who came. It's good to be back. I'm gonna go ahead, try to get back onto a thing. I'm gonna be checking in on my Discord again. Sorry I disappeared off that. So if there's something that you want me to go ahead and talk about, go ahead, get onto my Discord, leave me a message, and I'll go ahead and look into it. And if it's something that I can really speak on, I'll go ahead and do so. And I'll bring it up. And I tend to give shout outs and that sort of thing. You can go ahead and ask Bullet. But yeah, thank you all to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everyone who came to the live stream. Hopefully, on the next live stream, I'll get some more people in here as well, so we can have even more of a conversation. And I'll talk to you all later. Have yourselves a great day. Peace.